Have you ever heard of a man who never tasted death? The Bible mentions an enigmatic name, a figure who vanished without leaving any mortal traces, someone who was taken directly to heaven without passing through the inevitable fate of humanity. His name was Enoch, and his story not only defies the common logic of existence, but also carries hidden secrets that few have dared to explore. What happened to Enoch after he was taken by God? Did he simply disappear to live eternally alongside the Creator? Or is there something far greater behind this story? Something that could forever change the way we view the relationship between humans and the divine? To understand this mystery, we need to go back to the beginning, more precisely to the book of Genesis. Enoch's mention is brief, almost insignificant when compared to other biblical narratives. He appears as an ancestor in Adam's lineage, a man who lived 365 years before being taken by God. The number of his years is not a mere coincidence, as it reflects the complete cycle of the solar calendar, suggesting a deeper connection between his life and the cosmic order established by the Creator. But what truly stands out is the description of his end. Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. So no detailed explanation, no cause of death, just a direct and mysterious statement that Enoch was no longer among the living. This lack of detail has led to centuries of speculation. After all, what does it mean to walk with God? Did Enoch possess divine knowledge that made him worthy of escaping death? Unlike other biblical figures who endured long and arduous journeys before being exalted, Enoch seems to have been chosen without the need for trials, raising even more questions about his true role in sacred history. The Bible's silence about Enoch's fate did not prevent other scriptures from attempting to fill in the gaps. In apocryphal texts, we find detailed accounts of his journey. The Book of Enoch, an ancient manuscript revered by some Jewish and early Christian traditions, expands this story in a remarkable way. According to this account, Enoch was not only taken to heaven, but there witnessed extraordinary events and received revelations that no other human had access to. The narrative reveals that Enoch traversed multiple heavens, each more glorious and awe-inspiring than the last. During his ascent, he saw the fallen angels being judged, witnessed the secrets of creation, and received knowledge that remained hidden from most of humanity. But what is most astonishing is what happened at the end of this journey. Enoch did not remain merely a man taken to heaven. He was transformed into something far greater. In later writings, particularly in the third book of Enoch, we discover that he was elevated to a unique position among the angels. He ceased to be a mere human and became Metatron, one of the most powerful celestial beings ever mentioned in Jewish traditions. The name Metatron is shrouded in mystery, but he is described as the Prince of the Divine Presence, the angel closest to God, the holder of unfathomable secrets, and an authority so great that even the other angels feared his presence. But how could a simple man be transformed into such a magnificent entity? The answer lies in what Metatron received upon reaching his final state. According to the accounts, his body was enveloped in celestial flames, his form expanded beyond the limits of the material world, and most impressively, God granted him 72 wings, representing the extent of his new authority over creation. If that weren't enough, Metatron was also given 365,000 eyes, allowing him to see everything in the universe simultaneously. Enoch's transformation was not only physical, but also spiritual. He transcended the human condition and became something entirely new. What happened next left even the inhabitants of heaven in a state of shock. Unlike any other angel, Metatron was given a throne beside God. This was unprecedented, as celestial rules dictated that only God could sit on a throne of glory, while angels were to remain standing before him. But Metatron was the exception. He not only received a seat, but was also given a title that would cause even more uproar in the heavens, Lesser Yahweh. The divine name, one that could not be shared, was bestowed upon a former human, something the angels themselves could not comprehend. This privileged position sparked controversies among the celestial hosts. How could a mere man achieve such closeness to the Creator? Some angels began to question whether Metatron had become a second power in heaven, an idea that challenged the fundamental belief in God's oneness. It was then that an event occurred that would forever mark the relationship between Metatron and the other celestial beings. In a mystical vision, a sage named Elisha ben Abuya is said to have been lifted to heaven, where he witnessed Metatron seated on his throne. This seemingly simple detail caused a crisis of faith, for according to Jewish doctrines, only God should be enthroned. Stunned by what he saw, Elisha uttered a phrase that would echo through the ages. There are two powers in heaven. This statement provoked an immediate reaction in the celestial realm. To correct this apparent confusion, the angels punished Metatron with 60 lashes of fire, reaffirming his position as a servant, not a deity. This punishment served as a warning. No matter how glorious Metatron was, he could never be compared to the Creator. But this story raises profound questions. After all, if Metatron possessed a throne, a divine name, and immense power, what exactly was his role in the cosmos? In some traditions, he is seen as the supreme mediator between God and humanity, the one who receives prayers and brings them to the Creator. In others, he is described as the angel who records all human actions in the Book of Life, responsible for maintaining the balance of divine judgment. In any of these versions, the truth is undeniable. Enoch transcended his human nature and became something unique in the history of creation. Even today, theologians and scholars debate the implications of this account. Some point out that the figure of Metatron bears parallels to the description of Christ in Christian theology, as both are depicted as seated at the right hand of God, both wield authority over heaven and earth, and both are considered mediators between the divine and humanity. Could Metatron be an early archetype of the idea of a savior, or merely a distinct version of a concept shared across different traditions? Regardless of the answers, one thing is certain. Enoch's story is one of the most intriguing in all of sacred literature. His disappearance was not the end, but the beginning of something few could imagine. He not only walked with God, but was transformed to reflect his own glory. And so, from among humanity, a man ascended and became one of the most powerful among the angels. Enoch's transformation into Metatron was not merely a personal exaltation. It carried a cosmic purpose and a message about the relationship between God, the angels, and humanity. After all, if Metatron was originally a man, does his ascent mean that other humans could also attain a similar celestial state? Or was Enoch a unique exception in the history of creation? To answer this question, we need to understand what it means to be an angel in Jewish and Christian tradition. Unlike the popular image of angels as beings with wings and harps, the biblical tradition describes them as divine messengers, spiritual warriors, and even beings of fire and light. Some angels, like the cherubim and seraphim, are depicted as grand and incomprehensible creatures to the human mind. Yet Metatron defies this pattern because he was not born an angel. He became one. This makes Metatron a unique figure, as he carries both human experience and celestial glory. He understands the suffering and trials of mortals, but also possesses the wisdom and power of the angels. This dual role may be one of the reasons he was chosen to be the mediator between God and humanity. If he, an ordinary man, could be transformed into one of the most powerful beings in heaven, does this mean there is hope for the righteous to achieve a deeper communion with God? The Book of Enoch suggests that the answer might be yes. In his visions, Enoch learns that true faith and righteousness can bring a human closer to God in unimaginable ways. However, his transformation also serves as a warning. Not everyone is ready for such elevation. Some angels fell because they desired more power than was permitted to them, and this lesson applies to humans as well. Metatron's position sparked not only religious debates, but also a certain unease among the angels themselves. Throughout history, various mystical traditions record moments of tension between Metatron and other celestial beings. Some angels did not accept his ascent, arguing that he still bore human traits. This conflict leads us to another intriguing question. To what extent can a human become celestial without completely losing their original identity? To better understand this dilemma, we can look to another biblical figure who also did not experience death, the prophet Elijah. Like Enoch, Elijah was taken to heaven in a chariot of fire without undergoing earthly death. However, unlike Metatron, he was never described as having been transformed into a powerful angel. He remained a prophet, a servant of God, without occupying a position of celestial authority. This suggests that Enoch received an exceptional fate, unlike any other character in the Bible. But there is yet another mystery hidden in his story. In some Kabbalistic traditions, Metatron is called the Angel of the Lord, a title that, at various points in the Bible, is attributed to a direct manifestation of God. This has led some scholars to wonder, could Metatron be more than just an angel? Could he be an extension of the divine presence itself? This idea is controversial, as it goes against traditional monotheistic belief, but it cannot be entirely dismissed. This confusion is precisely why Metatron was punished by the other angels. When Elisha ben Abuya saw him seated on his throne, it caused such a shock that Metatron himself had to be disciplined to make it clear that he was not God, but rather an exalted servant. Yet this punishment did not strip him of his unique position. He remained the guardian of sacred records, the angel who sees all and the one who tracks every human action in the book of life. The question that remains is, why would God allow a former human to attain such an elevated position? One explanation lies in Metatron's very name. Some scholars believe the word derives from the Greek root metathronos, meaning the one behind the throne. This would indicate that Metatron does not rule as God, but serves as an intermediary between him and the rest of creation. He is not on the divine throne, but near it, assisting in the organization of the cosmos. This privileged position also suggests another interpretation. Metatron could be a model for those who seek a life of righteousness. His story teaches that those who walk with God can attain spiritual states beyond human comprehension. However, this closeness to the divine requires humility, for even the most exalted of angels remains a servant of the Creator. Metatron's influence extended beyond Jewish tradition. Some scholars believe that the ideas associated with him may have influenced how early Christians viewed Jesus Christ. Both figures are described as seated at the right hand of God, playing a role in mediation and judgment. However, there is a crucial difference. While Metatron was elevated to angelic status after his earthly life, Christ, according to Christian faith, was divine from the beginning and merely took on human form. This makes Metatron a powerful figure, but still limited within the divine order. Metatron also appears in some esoteric traditions, where he is described as the ruler of the universe's hidden mysteries. In certain Kabbalistic writings, he is portrayed as the guardian of God's secret knowledge, the one who holds the key to understanding celestial secrets. This view of Metatron as the bearer of divine knowledge may be tied to his role as a celestial scribe, responsible for recording every event in the cosmos. Another interesting point is that some traditions believe Metatron still interacts with the human world, guiding those who seek spiritual truth. Although not directly mentioned in the canonical Bible, he appears in various mystical narratives as a being who answers prayers and reveals hidden mysteries to those deemed worthy of receiving them. In the end, Metatron's story teaches us that the human destiny can go far beyond what we imagine. Enoch's journey proves that those who truly seek God can be elevated to levels of existence that transcend mortality. But at the same time, it also reminds us that all power and glory belongs solely to the Creator, and any attempt to cross that line results in divine correction. Metatron remains one of the greatest mysteries of ancient texts. He is an angel, a transformed man, a mediator, and a guardian of the universe's secrets. But above all, his story challenges us to think about the boundaries between the human and the divine, and how far one can go without crossing the line that separates creation from the Creator.